let's consider another interesting technique we can use when writing tests. There is one test inside timelineitems.test.ts file where we can apply this technique. As you can see, inside of this test we have a pretty lengthy definition of the object that we are using inside this expectation. So in order to avoid writing this definition manually, we can use so-called snapshot tests for this. And to use snapshot tests, we just need to call method toMatchSnapshot on this expectation object, like so. And what this will do is when we will run this test for the first time, Vitest is going to generate object definition based on the supplied parameter into expect function and use this definition as an expected value for this expectation. And since I already have Vitest running, if we take a look at the project structure, in here we can see a new folder, Snapshots, that was automatically created by Vitest when we called toMatchSnapshot method. And there is one file with an extension .snap where Vitest has put definition of our expected value. As you can see in here, since we are expecting array of timeline item objects, Vitest has generated this array and saved in this snapshot file. So that next time Vitest is going to run this test, it is going to compare the value we have passed into expect function with the previously generated snapshot, thanks to toMatchSnapshot method. And this helps us to drastically reduce the size of this test, because now we no longer have to define definition of expected value manually. We can remove all this code. And now let's try to run only this test by using only modifier. As you can see, it's working, but the moment we'll try to change initial data for this test, let's try to change value of the hour property of the initial array of timeline item objects. We're going to get a mismatch between initial data and then expected data that has been saved into the snapshot file, because that snapshot has been taken based on the previous data. But now the data has changed and the previously generated snapshot is no longer valid. So to make this test pass again, we have to open up the snapshot and manually change updated value. And now it is passing again, but as you can see, doing all this manually every time we need to update snapshot is by far not the best way. So the Vitest can update snapshots for us. Let's change initial data one more time, switch over to the terminal, and as we can see in here, there is an option to update all outdated snapshots. We just have to press U. So let's do that and take a look at the definition of the snapshot. As you can see in here, value for the property hour was updated. So this is one way how we can use snapshots in our tests. But sometimes those snapshots are not that big, and it even makes sense to put snapshots directly in the testing function instead of creating separate files. And in order to make Vitest save snapshots directly in the testing functions, we need to use toMatchInlineSnapshot method. After saving the file, and if Vitest is running on the background, we can see that Vitest has automatically generated that same snapshot, but now instead of saving it in a separate file, it has put it directly in this one, inside this expectation. So we no longer need to keep that snapshot folder anymore. We can simply remove it, since we are storing snapshot directly in the file. And of course, same principles apply in here. If we'll change initial data, this inline snapshot will be no longer valid, so we'll have to regenerate it by pressing U in the terminal, and tests are passing again. I'm gonna do it one more time, revert the change to the initial data, and regenerate snapshots again. And the tests are passing. To make sure that we haven't broken anything else in the project, I'm gonna run all tests. They're all green, so we can move on to the next topic. Let's also not forget and remove that modifier only. Link to the source code will be in the video description.